Hello, friend. I'm Michael McCurry, and this is The Huddle. On this day in 1944, June 6th, over 150,000 men stormed the beaches of Normandy, the first real crack in the armor of Fortress Europe. It was the beginning of the end for Hitler's regime. It's amazing to think that the average age, of course, they were men of all ages on those beaches, both on the German side and on the Allied side. But the average age of the Allied soldiers, Americans, Canadians, and a few other countries that were going to bring freedom back to France and to Europe at large, the average age was 22 years old. Think about that. The average age for the young men that come to football camp, about 14 years old. That means in just 6, 7, 8 years or so, the average young man at football camp could, if pressed into service, like some of those men were, could be jumping out of a boat into withering machine gun fire. Think of those shells from the battleships. They look like the size of cars, flying overhead and impacting those pillboxes. Think of the fear, but think of the bravery, the courage of what those men did. And then I think of people like these missionaries behind me. I think of the Wallace family to Mexico. At the church, Akron, Ohio, First Baptist of Kenmore, working with Joe Grimaldi. That's the church the Wallaces are actually out of, Mexico City. They serve God in one of the most dangerous cities in the entire world. Many missionaries serve in dangerous places. Mexico City has got to be near the top of that list, not just for the violence. The pollution is absolutely crazy. The health problems it causes. They're working against, talk about storming the gates of hell. They are working against trying to see people saved from a religion that literally worships death. The Day of the Dead. And then to think of what they're doing. Prior military, Brother Wallace is, but I'd tell you the work he does today, and he would say the same thing. The work he does today has far more eternal impact than what he did for Uncle Sam. It makes me wonder, what am I really doing for the Lord? Would you ask yourself, what are you really doing for the Lord? We are here, June 6th, 2 months from the 30th year of football camp, 61 days. Are you ready for God to speak to you? Will you be there for God to speak to you? I'd encourage you, pray for Man Camp every day for the next 2 months. Pray for what God is going to do in young men's lives. Pray for what God will do in your life. Thank you for joining me in the huddle. God bless.